so cold. How do you freeze it? It's freezing. Peter's nice on in there.
Yeah.
So cold. It's so cold. Magpie's frozen to the fence. Hello, JP. It's early because we're not going to be out here after about 7. It's going to be getting down to about 7 or 6 degrees. Too cold? How are you? Football, what's that about?
He's watching the footy.
Oh, right, yeah, that's right. I remember the last
Who's
week's
playing?
game.
Oh, it's only them pair.
Collingwood playing Hawthorn. Wow, can only hope Collingwood get beat. Yeah, I saw that, but yeah, I don't know. The Pies have been hot and cold. Who did your mob play this week? I know we're playing Adelaide, which got beaten by Fremantle last week. So, Richmond on Sunday. Should be a good game. I just thought this one's just faded. Like they just seem to stop. Which is, I don't mind losing. If my team loses, I'd like to see that they lose well. Thought your mob were pretty average in the second half. When's your boy Franklin back? I mean, is he going to be playing? Hello, Tony. Early broadcast tonight because it's cold.
So you have to have an early shower, Tony.
Oh, you can have a shower whenever he likes.
Yeah, you're his alarm clock for it.
Got our storm border connected today. Well, in line for our gutters. Should all be done by Sundays. I'm happy because tonight with a young small team. Yeah, no, it's good. That's what you build the future on, of course. You can't. It's like I've said, Adelaide. Our son-in-law, he's an Adelaide freak, but I said 2 years ago, I said, there's too many old people in your side. They're all being carried and they will fall in a hole. He said, no, we'll win the premiership. Nah. Now they're struggling really to play any cohesive football, Adelaide. Well, they've got to rebuild. They've got to do a Sydney. They've got to put some young legs out in the field. They just carried too long, the old guard. I mean, good players don't become bad players, but they become slow or slower. So you can't rely on, you should have probably 6 to 8 senior players in the side, with those other ones around 3 and 4 years experience, and then the young ones a couple of years experience. That's good balance. Up north, see, New South Wales closed the border. Yeah, you need a balance. You need that experience, youth, and those mid-range. The 3 and 4 and 5 year players that have got enough experience and they're just about to peak. And the senior players can carry the burden for so long. But Adelaide just, basically ran a nursing home there for the last couple of years. I mean, this season, it sounds silly to say, but you can just about write it off. Yeah, there'll be a winner, but it's so broken up and teams put under pressure to be those teams coming out of Victoria now. Our teams have been in the Gold Coast for 7 weeks and it's disjointed. So it'll be a disjointed season. There'll be winners that we wouldn't expect, and we've already started to see that. So, and I don't know what next year will unfold. This thing is not going anywhere. My eldest son, he's 40, but he coaches 2 younger teams down in Bunbury. And they've been really cautious, which is good, like separating the young fellas even from each other, but still doing the skills. Weather is cold here. It's cold here. Don't often say that, but it's cold. What is it now? 11 degrees. So by about 7, or just after, it'll be about 7 or 6 degrees. I don't mind the cold, but not when it gets bone chilling. Five-ton blocks split from the old man yesterday as a gift, and it's rubbish. It is rubbish. So today went and bought a Honda-powered 18-ton hydraulic splitter. That's going to do the job. Nah, when you get older you can swing it, but you pay the price in your shoulders and elbows and wrists. Jonathan is crying in the bench and I missed it. I'll be back. Okay. You're talking about the footy team on the bench. Someone got hurt by the sound of it. Yeah, log splitters are good. I mean, pattern. All right, okay. The log splitter just saves a lot, but you still can't split green wood. You've got to have last year's wood. Unless your old man's got a lot of dead wood lying around, makes it easy. You can split green wood, but you can't use it, is what I'm saying. A mate of mine used to stack up. He built a rack. He actually got an old, tyre companies, how they stack their racks of tyres. He got one of them and converted it a bit, and it's a wood stack now, and it's double-sided. Like he puts it's probably about 12 feet across by about 10 feet high. I don't know, there'll be 2.5, 3 tonne of wood in there every time, but he does it this winter. He's got another stack, and that's where that timber goes this year. He goes out the bush. He's down south, and he'll fill it up. It takes about 3 or 4 trips. He's got a log splitter, and he just stacks it up there in quarters, the quarter split, and he'll use the previous. But a lot of the stuff he finds, because he's got a licence to go through the forest down south for dead or fallen, and he gets so many tonne he can have for free, and he'll stack it up. Firewood is so expensive. A ton of Jarrah is probably $250 here. That's good wood though. Burn slow, real hard wood. That's what my floors are made out of. And I sanded the front veranda yesterday. And my arse cheeks are up near my elbows now. Jeez, I'm sore. Job had to be done. I was 3/4 of the way through and my arm was starting to seize it. So I'm going to finish this bloody thing. So I got it all done. It's Merbu. So I've left it for 5 weeks and all the tannin was coming out. So I sanded it. I'm going to leave it for another couple of weeks. Hit it with a cleaning agent and then oil it. But it looks good, sanded, but it'll tannin up a little bit again, which is okay. When that's done, we've got to do the paving out the front fence. Then I'm going to do all for about 6 months. Go on holiday. 46 for half a metre of hardwood dropped in the back. That's not too bad. What sort of hardwood is it? I'll tell you the best wood is mallee, of course. Dried mallee root. Oh, does that burn long and slow? Nothing like a fire, there's no doubt about that. We don't have one in the house because we've got reverse cycle. But I'll be building a little fire pit down the back somewhere. I do like sitting in front of a fire, having a cold one, or a sharp one, like a whiskey or something. It's good for your garden too, mate. Hardwood ash, brilliant. I made him one years ago, it was funny. I actually basically got him a job picking up crap around building sites, and he always pick up offcuts of pine. And in those days it wasn't treated, so it was okay to burn. But he'd always have these, what do you call them, fire pit nights burning pine. It was like all he did was stand up, keep feeding the bloody fire. I said, get some hardwood, mate. Oh no, this stuff is free. I said, yeah, but it's shit. Down past the shed there's a little area that I'm going to do a little fire pit, a couple of benches, maybe whack the barbecue down there. And our daughter is just about ready to pop. Doctors have told her she's got to choose if she wants the cesarean or try natural birth, but she's the size of a sperm whale. She's enormous. I said, mate, if you have a natural birth, they'll probably have to take both your legs off. And she basically swinging towards getting a cesarean. There'll be a lot less stress on her and the baby. That's her choice. But it'll be next week for sure. I think she said the latest she can go is the 20th. Will be grandchild number 10. It's a lot, isn't it? Yeah, you'll get your turn soon enough, Tony. There'll be little abbots running around everywhere. Budgie smugglers, sunscreen on their nose, tongue flicking out. Where's Granddad? He's over there watching TR. Tell him to turn the fucking thing off. Spoke to my eldest son. We'll be going down to Bunbury probably 2 or 3 weeks' time. Watch 2 of the grandsons playing footy, which is always a bit of a thrill for me. Even though they're only like 11 and 8, but they really thoroughly enjoy it. But that spike in Victoria is a bit of a worry. I mean, Australians travel around everywhere. And there's a lot of buggers that are obviously getting out of Victoria without being caught. Mind you, you get caught, you're in for big dollars. Yeah, I don't think this virus is going anywhere fast. It's got a lot of patience. We ease up too much. All our cases here in WA, we've got 15 or something, but they're all from interstate or overseas, and they're all in quarantine. They don't muck around here. You don't get an if, but, or maybe. Even if you've got a home in Perth, you fly in, they say, no, hotel quarantine. Don't come out for 2 weeks. They're tested on day 3 and day 11. So that's it. They don't muck around here. Yeah, I mean, Victorians notably always go, usually, they don't really go to Sydney. They go to Gold Coast, they come down, they'll go to northern New South Wales, you know, or even down south, Narooma.
They shouldn't be in your town, Tony. They should be home.
But they do. It's hard on the buggers on the eastern peninsula of Victoria and inland who've got no virus at all. They're not allowed to cross the border either. Hello, chick.
How's your weather, chick? You got your aircon in?
We don't need aircon here tonight. That's why we're on early. It's about 10 degrees now, dropping to about 6. That's freezing.
It's actually been cold all day.
But nice, sunny. Have to fold that tarp up tomorrow too down there.
Oh yeah.
We just work back in the shed till I need it for the front again.
Actually, should have hung it over the benches, maybe to air and dry a bit better.
No, it would have dried good there today. It got sun all day there.
Yeah, it's going to get dew on it now, tonight.
I'll just leave it till mid-afternoon. Pick it up. Yeah, my butt cheeks are so sore from twisting and turning on the veranda.
Did you dislocate your bum?
No, it's just muscles stretched. Yeah, Mr. Trump had a bad day today. He, Supreme Court, who he actually appointed Supreme Court judges himself, nominated them, and they said, no, we're going to look at your tax for the last 10 years, or a New York law is anyway. I mean, if you got nothing to hide, you wouldn't be fighting, would you? Must be a bag load of bad stuff in there. It's humid. I picked up a roll of paper towels. They're soggy. Stick them in the oven. You'll be good. Turn the oven on high for about 10 minutes. Turn it off. Chuck your wet towels in there.
What?
Hello, Sids.
What did you say, put in the oven?
It's got wet paper towels. If he turns the oven on quickly and then turns it off, puts the paper towels on a tray, the residue heat will dry them.
Wouldn't it be better in the microwave?
No, it'll probably catch fire.
Well, the oven will catch fire.
No, it won't be on. Didn't you hear what I said? Turn it on quickly and then turn it off.
Oh, okay.
Just get it warm. So many things is melted and all sogged up. Not here. It's cold.
Man, it must be humid if you've got soggy paper towels.
I think he lives in a swamp. He's up to his neck in water and gators. What have you been up to, Sids? Cooking? Staying away from these dramatic channels? I hope you have. Been a good girl. A lot of nonsense out there. All the kids are playing sport on the oval, which is good.
Well, with all your humidity and all the sweating, you won't need any moisturiser. It's good for your skin, actually.
Well, yeah.
Sweating. Sweat it out.
Made up some pies today. Leftover stew in the freezer. I didn't. You know when you go to the freezer and you think, what's in this? I don't know. Thaw it out. It was beef stew with veg.
Usually you label, but we forgot that right.
Yeah, so we just thawed it, drained off the excess, chucked her in some pastry, and called it good. So I'll give Em 3 of them tomorrow. Maybe William would eat it, do you think?
He'll try M's, but probably not.
You don't reckon?
Might surprise you. Give it 3. How many you got left?
5.
Yeah, give it 3. And we'll have the other ones with the mash.
I used to live in Darwin for a couple of years east, which is way up north in the territory. It's always humid. The dry season, they call it, still humid. The wet season, always just basically, you just feel like you're sweating.
Darwin, you either love it or you hate it.
You get used everywhere you live, of course, but...
Yeah, but you've just got to watch because people suffer from, they get a sore.
Yeah, it doesn't heal well.
And it doesn't heal.
Yeah, but the same in the US. You live in a place like Chick's saying now, it's always humid. You cut yourself or nick your finger or whatever, it takes forever to heal.
You've got to watch it doesn't turn into an abscess.
Now, high heels, don't wear them, Chick. Don't wear high heels. I remember a lady and my sister had a friend round, they were going out somewhere. And I overheard this lady say to my sister, it's good wearing high heels, it makes your ass stick out. And I'm thinking, so that's it? You wear them and you suffer all the indignation of your back, your spine, your heels, your ankles, because your ass sticks out.
Well, there's a lot of men who like the look of a long leg, slender leg in high heels.
So if you end up going out with a woman like that, it'd be great until you realise that she has to have spinal surgery, forever in a wheelchair because her ankles are broken. Worst invention ever done, high heels. Crocs, bare feet, all good. Sid loves high heels. Does your ass stick out, Sid? Sound as a pick. But that's what this lady said. Oh, I like wearing high heels because it makes my ass stick out. I'm thinking, really? Just pull your knickers down and walk into a pub. Don't worry about the high heels. They won't even look at your ankles. You do have back problems. Wow. Maybe you could get a pointed stick and put it in your eye and wonder if that would hurt. Yeah, no, I won't do that again. Or stick on high heels and then have forever back problems. You see women with them on. You see how the hips are pushed back and they're sort of leaning back a little bit. It's like, it's not natural.
I've got to say though, there are some women I've seen wear high heels and they don't seem to be affected, and it just seems so natural for them to wear them and walk in them.
My neighbour, when I was only about 25, she used to work at the State Housing Commission, and her husband, he'd say the same, don't put those down. She'd always wear these high heels. She was short, so heels were like 5 inches, and you'd hear it like an old horse, grey horse, going down a cobblestone road. Good-dum, 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 good-dum. It's like, can't be good.
I like boots, but not high ones. I wear flat, but I do like boots.
That guy just messaged that he's coming around 10 o'clock Sunday.
Okay. I
think high heels kicked off probably in the 40s in a big way.
Yes, a lot of it. And but
1940s, you see the old videos of them doing the stomp.
Yeah, but they weren't probably as high as they got in the 80s. But back when you look at women who wore them in the 40s, 50s, they looked okay.
I know my auntie had a pair, but there was like 1.5 inches on the bottom, like fairly thick.
I was solid, yeah.
Whereas the ones you see women wear,
Stilettos.
that's just basically quarter-inch
That's
round.
stilettos, yeah.
That's just crazy. Ugg boots are good. It's not a fashion statement, but it keeps you warm. Yeah, I remember the 70s and platforms and flares and nylon shirts that clung to your chest.
Even men wore platforms.
But, I mean, I never needed a platform. I'm
No,
6'5".
I was going to say.
Imagine me with a set of platforms. I'd never get through any damn door.
Did you ever have a pair?
No. Always wore flat shoes for my feet.
Yeah, but you had the silk shirt.
I had corduroy flares.
And silk shirt.
Corduroy flares basically look like curtains, and desert boots.
I used to love my desert boots.
And nylon shirts, yeah. I look weird.
Silk.
Was it silk?
Satin.
I don't know. I think it was nylon.
Satin. Top button open. Necklace on.
What?
Hairy chest showing.
What necklace? I don't have a hairy chest. I'm like a dolphin. Polyester is probably what it was, Sid, yeah. They were crap. I'm sort of a baggy t-shirt, pair of shorts, and either what you call flip-flops or just runners. That's good for me. Yeah, I remember kids with their big platforms. Made them about 7 foot tall. Saturday Night Fever. Huh? John Travolta. What was the girl's name in that?
And Saturday Night Fever.
It was the main actress. There was a few women in it, obviously, but the old hand in the air.
I can't remember.
It's funny, you look back on fashion, even TV shows, something like Cheers. What was that? Probably based in the 70s. Big, wide lapels on shirts, bright colours. It's like hairstyles. Do you remember the 80s? Two things I remember about the 80s. Bouffants, hairstyles on women, and shoulder pads.
Beehive hairstyle.
No, not beehives. All buffy hairstyles.
Well, my mum and sister loved the beehive.
What was it about shoulder pads? Did they have to look like a quarterback? What was the point?
Yeah, the old beehive. Yep, my mum had it high up.
I remember
Teased it
the
up
60s was beehives. I remember as a little kid, all the parties we go, all the girls would be mini skirts and big beehives. Like we felt their head was going to topple over. Spandex, woo! Spanx. But she said spandex. That's how you're supposed to say it, isn't it?
Alright.
Isn't Spanx just a brand or something?
Spanx is a hold-in underwear.
Okay.
I don't know.
And stockings. Remember when women used to wear stockings? I thought they always looked very elegant.
Yeah, that's what men used to like.
No, it wasn't a sexual thing. They just looked good.
High heels, long slender
No,
legs.
not high heels. But stockings used to be worn to work. Like you'd have a sort of maxi dress just above the knee or below the knee, if you like, and then stockings.
I couldn't handle stockings. I used to hate
Good
them.
pair of shoes.
My mum lived in them. All stockings are good for. If you haven't got a strainer, grab a stocking. A clean one.
Yeah, as long as it's not out the dirty wash bowl.
And then tights came in. Oh, I didn't like them either.
They always used to tear, didn't they? Tights.
Tights are thicker than stockings.
Chicks and Iron Maiden girl. Heavy metal. I have to be honest. I think in 2020 there isn't any style.
No, people.
It's freelance. It's like everyone's different.
People have learnt to dress individually and be comfortable and wear what they want and like. They don't always follow the fashion trend now.
I mean, in Australia, honestly, if I took you girls around for a walk and you looked at the girls, they're just comfortably dressed. Some wear a nice frock or whatever, but generally they're just comfortable. Jeans, sneakers, t-shirt. Blokes are the same, except they don't wear skirts. Well, the ones I know don't wear skirts anyway. But it's like, there isn't the style of the 2020s. There isn't one. And there's not now that there's politically correct for women magazines, there isn't all these thin models on there anymore. They're all normal people, which I think's good. Why the hell would you want to promote always skinny women to wear clothes? Does that make women want to be skinny? Just crazy. Chick says she's now Walking Dead style. You were a fashion statement always. Yeah. Excuse us, Sids. But there isn't the style of the 2020s.
It hasn't been.
It's sort of just casual.
It hasn't been a style for a few years actually when you think about it.
Probably
the
the last
90s.
decade, I suppose, yeah.
I remember when knickerbockers were the in thing.
There's not even like fads. Remember through all our lives there was grunge, there was all sorts, you know what I mean, gothics. There doesn't seem to be anything like that anymore. Yeah, I mean, androgyny is going to be the standard for the future. You're always dressed in tight jeans. Who's that coming through the door? It's no, she's not a whore. She's just full of style. Buy her a bourbon and she'll stay a while.
Get off.
Black velvet, da 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 da. You just got to be comfortable. I think when you see people comfortably dressed, they're relaxed. They're not like pretentious anymore. I suppose that's what I remember of people wearing. Like when I was in corporate, if you like, wearing suits, I always used to get sort of tap on the shoulder saying, "Why aren't you wearing a tie?" And I said, "I'm not fucking selling ties." What? Yeah, I don't sell ties. Leave me alone. Never liked ties, ever. Why are you wearing them loose now? Sids, have you got something to tell us? As long as they're comfortable. Exactly. Comfort's the way to go. And when you get a little bit older, what you realise is that you must please yourself first. Instead of preeming and proppering and spending 9 hours in front of a mirror and then going out to please everyone else with your looks and your style, most people realise that you should just please yourself. There was a song in the 90s. It was an obscure band, but I remember the words in it. It was something about being just looking comfortable and not pleasing others, along those lines anyway. And I thought, yeah, that makes sense. Something about I don't want to be a peacock and be admired by all, something like that.
What?
Again, it wasn't a famous band, just a song.
You got money.
No. I have to go and check my broccoli tomorrow. I've been ignoring them for a week. They might be due to be harvested. I think there's nothing wrong going through a period in your life trying to be fashionable, if you like. But there are some people that for their whole lives they're obsessed by that, the image, if you know what I mean. I mean, I can put on good boots, suit, good shirt, jacket, but I'm not very comfortable in it. It's not like, oh, this feels good. You wear it to please others, i.e. weddings, funerals, etc.
I don't know if you still got a suit. Or you've just got nice pants and a
I've
jacket.
got nice pants and a jacket. I don't think I have a suit as such. Yeah, punk stayed around for a while. Yeah, that's how you should be. So it's a case of you're not paying for my clothes and I feel comfortable in them.
I certainly don't care what people think.
Too much emphasis on... I think the female magazines have always been bad for influencing particularly younger women. Nothing wrong with chucking on a bit of lippy if you want to, eyeshadow, makeup. But some people look like clowns with the amount of makeup they got on. It's like when they're too frightened to smile because something will crack. Just to let you girls know, our daughter is about to pop. She was told today that she gets choose. She can have a cesarean if she wishes, or she can have a natural birth. And she wasn't quite sure today which way it was going to be.
Because she's 36 weeks and he is already at 8 pounds.
Yeah, it's huge. Like a small manatee. But that will be number 10. You have 14. You know why you've got 14, Sid? Those tight jeans in the 70s. You're to blame. Yeah, don't blame anyone else. My sister started early with kids, and I am a great uncle. That's
Yeah.
Tina, her daughter, and then her son. No, daughter. So it's like great uncle. You were 16. I was only 16, wearing them jeans. Ooh. Boys light up. Boys light up. Well, your mind doesn't get any older. But like my body, my butt cheeks are sore today for doing all this sanding. I must have sanded for about 8 hours. On my knees, on my ass, leaning over, leaning backwards. I nearly got the best of me and I wasn't going to let it, so I finished it off. But as you get older, it's not that you can't do things, but you probably shouldn't do them 8 hours solid on your knees. Not good.
Your pillow.
Just too uncomfortable with the pillow. Is it this way with seeds every day?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What did that
seeds.
woman say? I want it taken out of the back room, and I want those tight jeans cut up with a very sharp pair of scissors.
That's Link's uncle.
Yes.
Yeah. You're allowed to have fun, Sids. Fun. There is no like tax on fun. Well, not yet anyway.
So who's coming tomorrow morning? No one.
No, it's a day off tomorrow. The guy's come round about the fence on Sunday. The roof plumber will be here Sunday.
Because we've got weather coming in Monday.
Yum, peaches are yum. They've got to be ripe for me though. You know when you have a peach and it's not quite ripe? But a ripe peach is beautiful.
I can hear something down there.
Thanks, Sids. I'll show you the veranda in a video in about 4 or 5 days. Front veranda, or you guys call them porches.
Oh, peaches, yum. Peaches and cream.
Yeah, when you bite into a peach, you should melt into it. We had beautiful peach trees down south where we lived about 10 years ago. And they were just perfect. I'd had one the day before. And I woke up about 6 o'clock to the screaming and yellowing from parrots. And do you know what parrots do? They take a bite out of every peach. They don't eat one peach, which they're welcome to. But they just bite, chomp, out of each peach. So I'm not kidding, there was 1,000 peaches, all chomped on, one bite, mongrels. But I had one the day before, so we were actually going to take them over to the nursing home.
Oh, we did say some.
There was very few though. They were a mid-range peach. They were the one with that shaded red on one side and lighter on the other. Oh, I don't blame the parrots. They tasted delicious. But I just wish they'd eaten a whole peach instead of just chomping. I could hear this screaming and flapping. I thought, what the hell? When there was about 70 or 80 parrots in the trees. And you think when I went clap my hands and run them, they just looked at me and went, what? What do you want? No, well, I've eaten. Well, just brace yourself. When I was a young bloke, an apprentice plasterer, we used to go out bush, do work, concrete floors, things like that. We had to stay to do 2 huge sheds, so it was about 3 or 4 days. And for 2 nights in a row, we had this casserole. Beautiful. And I thought it was rabbit because I've eaten plenty of rabbit in my time. But no, the old mum of the farm said, no, pink and grey, galah. And I thought, wonder why. And actually the pink and grey galah's meat is a bit pinkish as well. But it tasted just like rabbit or chicken, I suppose. So it's not the worst thing in the world to eat.
Yeah, but then we had to go and take all the peaches off the tree so we didn't end up with fruit fly.
Yeah, if you open up fruit, you get all the flies in the world. But I'll eat anything if I'm hungry, but as a young bloke, I just ate always whatever was put in front of me. Wasn't any questioning about, oh, can I have the steak instead of the fillet? None of that happened. Only a broth or a stew when I was a kid, filled with dumplings to fill you up, and a steamed pudding to finish. So you went to bed full.
Hey, miss.
The garlic and chilli spray, you'll get rid of the fruit flies. I hate it.
I'm not quite sure how to pronounce Miss last name. Miss.
Yeah, that happens sometimes,
Horrible.
chick. You get seasons where you think, what's going on? There's no plums, or there's no oranges. Nature dictates it sometimes.
I pronounced it right, I think. Horrible.
Miss Horrible sounds English to me.
Yeah. Why so many flies? Because if you leave the fruit on the tree and the birds have started eating it, you get the little fruit flies will end up coming because the fruit's opened. It's horrible ask. So
Yeah.
we had to pick what the parrots had attacked. We took them off the tree because we had other fruit trees that would have got affected.
And the same parrots used to. Parrots are weird. There's the thing called capsicum. I'm not talking about a capsicum, but capsicum in a chemical sense in chilies. What parrots like to do is they shred them. Imagine you're shredding a chili. That's what they used to do, and they never used to eat any of the chili, but the capsicum juice is what they wanted. It was something in their system that needed it. So the buggers would just shred my chilies.
Oh, we do have birds that eat the fruit flies and flies. Little finches like them, willy wagtails. Most of the birds actually will eat the flies.
Yeah, we don't have any bugs in the garden at all. That's mainly because we feed the birds. And every now and then you look down there, they're all fossicking around the base of the plants and looking for bugs or whatever. So there isn't any. I can have a good harvest of broccoli shortly, all at the same time. But we'll eat broccoli for 2 or 3 nights in a row, and then we'll freeze the other 5 or 6 kilo. Blanch them first, of course. Freeze dry them, put them in bags. Broccoli's really expensive here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sometimes pay for a good head of broccoli about $5. But I'm looking forward to the next couple of months because it's chili and tomato season, melons, rock melons or cantaloupes you guys call them, honeydew, sugar, watermelons, yum. We use those pots for that, I think, to start off with before we set whatever else we're going to do with them. Broccoli's a great vegetable.
Yeah, I call them trees. They are.
It's good for just having on its own steamed or in stir fries, soups. You make a broccoli soup if you want to. I've never been keen on it myself.
What, broccoli soup? No, because you're supposed to eat that cold, aren't you?
Mm-mm. No, you think of a borscht or beetroot.
No, I don't want cold soup.
Good
thank
for the
you.
bladder. We eat lots of veg. Like the pies I made tonight was probably 90% vegetable. It was the beef stew turned into pies. We ate as many as we could, but we've still got 5 big pies left, so we'll give 3 to the daughter tomorrow. We'll save a couple for ourselves. We've probably got another few months of working around the house, and then we're going to have a break. Have you owned chickens? We haven't got them here at the moment, but we've had chickens in the past. You don't need a lot of chickens. There's really only 2 of us here most of the time. If you had 3 chickens, you'd never be able to eat all the eggs. You've been delayed replanting again. So many eggplants, brandy. Oh, I love brandy wine. I love brandy wine tomato. Welcome back, Tony. Tony Abbott is, of course, a famous celebrity in Australia, though you women don't know. He has reached the highest accolades and the highest position in the land. He also likes to wear budgie smugglers and stick his tongue out. But still, everyone's got faults.
Star chain. Oh, look, there's Butty.
Oh, hello, Buttercup.
Better give Tony a star.
What can't you grow in Australia? We grow everything. We have a land that is so big that up north they'll have massive crops. Down south in their season, massive crops. We're a net producer of food. We eat only 20% of the food we produce. Yep, I like banana peppers. I'm good. JP's back. He's been to the bench, checked on his mate. Everything's okay.
Better give JP a star. He said he's back.
JP is a stripper from the Gold Coast. You know, works on cars, takes the paint off, put new paint on, stripper. Do you need more people? No, not really. Never been a crowd sort of room. Some people say more the merrier. I say, well, as long as we can have a chat, have a good time for a little while. We're not really seeking large numbers. Green pepper. I grew some chilies down south, and I've grown chilies a lot. But these chili bushes, we're not kidding, they're 4 to 4.5 feet high, just full of fruit. My favourite capsicum really is, it's called bull's horn. It's big and red and about 10 inches long. No, JP, I'm talking about capsicum. And it's so sweet and delicious. I used to probably take 30 or 40 of them along with my brandy wine, ox heart, and I used to put in some Amish paste tomatoes and make my own sauce. It was sensational. I like making something out of what I grow, like I'll pickle cucumbers, make bread and butter pickles, things like that. I just like doing the secondary bit after you've grown it. Sweet, delicious, and 10 inches, just like a schnitzel at the RSL. But making our own sauces and pickles, it is time consuming. Sids will know what I'm talking about, but it's great fun. Tastes good. I would go down to my brandy wine bushes, chick, and I would take a sharp knife with me, salt and pepper. And some people don't know, but brandy wines can grow enormous. I reckon the biggest one I grew, we did weigh it actually, it was over a kilo, wasn't it?
What's that?
That big brandy wine, I weighed one that was over a kilo.
Yeah.
But around about 700 grams, so not a 2.5 pound tomato like this big one was, but probably a pound and a bit. But I just slice it, and brandy wine, the chick would know, you can slice them so thin because there's all flesh and very, very few seeds. Very few seeds in brandy wine. You can actually make a tomato sandwich and the tomato will be wider than the bread. And it's just delicious. It's got a texture and taste all of its own. But I'd often go down the back with a sharp knife, cut it up, salt and pepper, just eat them. It certainly is, I think it was first developed in 1883 in a creek in America somewhere. So they tell me. Yeah, ox heart, brandy wine, beef steaks, okay. But pure flavour, the heirlooms are certainly the ones to eat. And cherry tomatoes, my God. You get thousands of cherry tomatoes if you look after just one plant.
Yeah, all the different colours, yeah. What's my favourite tomato? What's that tomato called?
Kumato. That's a hybrid though. It's called Kumato. Kumato. Kumato.
Weird name.
That's sweet though.
It is, that's why I like it. Sweet.
But a good night, instead of having a meal, just get a breadboard, a couple of different types of cheeses, some crackers, some fruit, some tomatoes and pickles. And you have a meal. Slowly but surely consume it over a few hours. No cooking involved. when I make my bread and butter pickles, I love thick bread, buttered, full of bread and butter pickles. 4 beefsteak, 2 Cherokee, purple ones, yep. 2 plum, 2 cherry, 2, you don't need any more than that. I would only grow 8, maybe 10 tomato bushes, because if they grow really well, you have more tomatoes than you ever know what to do with. It's a process making bread and butter pickles, but that is enjoyable. My daughter-in-law, we had to come over to the East Coast a couple of years ago, and I had a huge jar of them. She said, "Can I have them?" She devoured them apparently within a week. She wants to learn how to make them. I said, it's a bit of a protest. You've got to cut up all the pickles, you've got to salt them, brine them, drain them, take all the salt as best you can out of them, make the brine up, blah, blah, blah. She's sort of saying, well, that seems complicated. I said, do they taste good? She said, yeah. So she wants to learn how to do it. But I'll use my own cucumber when I do that. I always save my own seeds, even though we haven't done it for over a year now. We have our own seed company, mainly because we can't get supply. But I always, with my own plants, I'll save my own seed. So I get the best tomato, the best looking seeds out of it, put them in, dry them naturally, and then, if you've ever saved tomato seeds, there are 2 easy ways. One is you just pull all the pulp out, chuck it into a jar with a bit of water, put a loose covering top so it can breathe, and it basically ferments. And all the good seeds drop to the bottom over a period of time, and all the crappy, no good seeds float to the top. It's very easy to get your own seeds that way, or you just use the old paper toweling method, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, really. It's easier to just chuck it in a jar, put it like a cloth or a flannel lid on it with a lucky band. About a week and a bit, all the good seeds drop to the bottom. Geez, they grow so fast. The thing about cucumbers in particular, you turn your back, I'm not kidding. It seems, even a little one we had out the front, pulled about 7 or 8 cucumbers off it one day, and they thought the next night, we'll just go and check. There's another 7 or 8 there. They grow faster than you can imagine.
What's that?
Cucumbers.
Oh, yeah.
Zucchinis are just about indestructible, unless you want to get them to the stage they get so big in the UK they call them marrow.
I don't mind zucchini, actually. Hey, Buddy, it is bloody freezing here.
Mm.
It is, I've got 2 pairs of socks on. I had 2 jumpers, scarf.
Getting down to 6 degrees.
Blanket wrapped around me all day, freezing. How's your veggie garden going, JP?
Yeah, you mentioned it for a while.
Yeah. You were having...
Cukes are really easy. You don't even need a garden bed for cukes. If you just got a really big pot, throw in about 3 or 4 plants, let them trail over.
I love cucumbers.
Just, when they start tendrils going out, just push them up against the side of a fence. Oh, we might do a live hangout, cuddling up Buttercup. 100, I'll swap you any day, Sids. Yeah, you can, if you've only got so much room or whatever, you can only grow whatever. But I do like cucumber, tomatoes, chilies, melons during summer. I love it. We'll be ripping a few things out. Got only a couple of lettuce left, and the carrots all have to come out. But I'll be prepping the soil. I always like to let the soil settle for a month after you've taken a crop out. We don't mind the heat here.
Well, humidity, that's another thing. I don't mind a little bit of humidity, but if it has to be humid, then just give it to me full on. I'd rather just be a bag of sweat than be in between.
Why don't you just fix the sprocket? When was the last time you bought veg from a shop? Oh no, we're always buying veg.
We bought peas, because we didn't grow peas.
Garlic, we've got garlic in, but
Garlic,
it's not ready.
But it's not ready.
But I've had gardens where we haven't bought anything from the shops before. But I tend to grow things, we've got a very small garden really. I tend to grow things that cost a lot to buy. Like, I'm not kidding you, chilies here are $30 a kilo. That works out about $14 a pound.
Yeah, because we've only just sort of...
They're always expensive in Australia.
We've only just sort of started doing the yard and got the planter boxes and to grow veggies again. But most times, yes, we grow 90%.
Well, we constantly eat out of the garden.
We grow 90% of our stuff usually.
It's like, if you can, like, I can go down the back, can't get any tomatoes now because it's winter, but I can get spring onions, lettuce, carrots, spinach, broccoli, you know what I mean? So we eat that. It's in season.
Do you have a garden, miss? You grow any veggies or anything?
Ginger's not that hard to grow. And it's sort of basically perennial. If you forget to pull rhizomes out, they just keep going the next year.
No, you don't grow nothing. Okay.
Like in the freezer, I've got probably still 20 spring rolls I've made it up with just our veggies. Have a good one, Tony.
See you, Tony.
I know what you're doing, Tony. I know where you're going.
Yeah.
70-inch telly.
He's on the next lot of TR.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Tony.
They've always been pricey chilies, haven't they?
They're just always expensive.
Yeah.
Garlic here is up to, Australian garlic up to $45 a kilo. 80-inch telly. Hello, everybody. Hello, Tony. I'm going to stick a 5,000 kilowatt battery on a small 4-watt globe and see how long I can run it for. Who needs a telly? Well, you don't really need a telly, but there are a couple of things I like to watch every now and then. But we're not big telly people, as you can tell. War's outside, but it's cold tonight, so we won't be outside for long. You'd like the pies I made tonight, Buttercup. Beef and vegetable stew turned into beef and vegetable pies. A little bit of curry I put in there too. Just a tiny hint of curry, not a lot of curry. Everything's soggy.
Oh yeah, when it's humid, it's like when you get days and days and days of rain and everything is damp. And if you live in an older house, like we have most of our lives, everything just feels damp no matter what you do, doesn't it? There's a few little tricks you can do to put stuff in your wardrobe to keep damp away.
It's about a 40-second video. Won't take you long. Yeah, damp. I mean, I used to live in the UK as a boy. It was always damp. When it was summer, it would be damp in summer.
Yeah, just like everything
You get the
you
humidity
touch.
in summer.
And then when it finally stops raining, you get the half decent weather, you open everything up to air everything. Ice in front of the fan. Isn't there something else, Buddy, that helps? Like you put sachets of something in your wardrobe, or you can buy these things.
Or one of
that
those crazy
absorb
things
damp.
called a dehumidifier.
You put something into a container.
Bernard says sleep well.
See, it's not mothballs. I had to buy them when we were in Sydney. I remember those little containers I had. It absorbed moisture in the van.
Mm-hmm. We could always move to Australia. To replace your AC. Carpenter. You normally need an electrician, not a carpenter.
I think it's got to have.
Or is it a window air
Yeah, it's
conditioner?
got to have the window fixed or something first.
We have reverse cycle, so just better turn on the button. Keep you cold or keep you warm.
Yeah, it's through the wall.
Through the wall, yeah. The secret to keeping cool during summer is to have a small room with a small air conditioner. In the heat of the day or those nights you can't sleep, just go there. She's definitely from the old mighty land of where you're from.
Why? Because of the
It's
name.
just her name, Mrs. Horrible. Horrible is very much an English saying. What's the weather like then? Oh, it's horrible, mate. Yeah. What's wrong with the H? I don't use H. I just say horrible.
We went there last year.
Yes, been to London. Didn't see you there, Miss Horrible. Obviously you weren't
Well,
looking
you
for
don't
us.
know. We might have. Could have passed her in the street and
Could have
didn't
done.
even know.
No bother, mate. Yeah, no bother.
Where? Well,
We could see, when we landed at Heathrow, we could see where I used to live. I used to live in a place called Rutters Close.
what was the suburb?
Well, that's it, Rutters Close.
London.
Yeah.
You didn't have a. You had a suburb.
Oh, I could find the address for you,
You can't remember the suburb.
but
Buddy might know
near Heathrow, within about 5 minutes of Heathrow.
Buddy might know the suburb. I was born in Australia. We went over to the UK last year. We went to England, Ireland, Scotland, Germany,
Wales.
Wales, Frankfurt. Went all around there last year on a holiday.
Stuttgart.
Well, if you went, I don't know. I don't know what the suburb is around
Oh, I
there
could
near
find
the
it.
airport.
I could find it. But I can tell you, I was last in the UK nearly 50 years to the day from when I left it, and a lot of the Englishness has gone out of England, if you know what I mean.
Englishness.
Oh, we went to Manchester, where my mum was born and grew up, and I only met one Manc, just one Manc. And I said to him, are you the only Manc left? He said, he sometimes feels like it.
But I enjoyed looking around. I even enjoyed looking around London, to be honest. There would have been more I would have liked to have seen. Loved walking down what was the street? The two main streets around where we were. Oh God, I can't even remember. That's-
Kensington.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was nice.
that was nice.
Bit of upstairs, downstairs and that.
Yeah, Kensington was the second time, and the first time.
Hillingdon, okay, yep.
Earl's Court. We stayed in Earl's Court the first time. Then we did our tour, and then
Yeah.
came back and stayed at Kensington. Oh, is that where Seeds was, Buddy? We have to ask Buddy where you used to live. Oh, it's the
Well,
suburb.
Buddy would know what I'm saying. If someone asks where you live, you just say Rudders Close. You wouldn't say Hillingdon. You wouldn't say... You generally work on a little village area where you lived. That's how people used to do it.
Mm.
Very posh now. Well, where I used to live, I don't know. When I lived there, there was like massive farms on the other side of the railway line. We used to go ice skating on the ice, and I used to fall through it regularly. I used to chase pheasants. It used to be the end of summer, you could catch the big fat pheasants. And dozens of kids would go into the field and end up with 4 or 5 and take them back home, and 1 or 2 of the mums would cook all them up, and the neighbourhood used to share them.
Yeah, just the damn, what's the name? The train.
I don't, look, Australia is
Like that.
multicultural, and that's what UK has become as well. It's unilaterally around the world. Most places, if I took you to one city and then the next, and we had a coffee, you were saying this looks just like all the people look like everywhere we go. I have nothing against Muslims at all. You'll find the UK is made up of hundreds of different nationalities and races. And it's good in one way, and it's sort of culturally destroying in another way, which just is natural attrition. It's what happens.
There's still some good parts though.
But because I was brought up in the UK as a kid, you'd only have to go to the next village, and they talk different. And I've got relatives in Scotland, Wales, everywhere, and they all talked different.
But most
Now,
of yours,
they all talk the same.
most of yours come from York. Oh, I loved York. Chesterfield. Is it Chesterfield? What's the other place I liked?
Chester.
Chester, not Chesterfield. Chester.
Yeah, York. We went to York.
Loved it.
That's where my ancestors used to live and be executed for fighting the French. Seems the master plan is underway. We're going to turn the world into looking just like a food court. Yes, we've achieved it. The world is now just one large food court. Wherever you walk around in your own town, there's 19,000 languages being spoken. You don't understand any of them. You want to open the window and you want to stick your head out and shout, I'm sick to tired of this and I'm not going to take it anymore. Okay, I'll have some fish and chips and curry. That's all right, yeah.
Settle down, pedal. I have to give you your tablets.
No, just what it is. The world has changed. Yes, Newsfront.
Oh, is that from was it?
Yeah, it was a very,
Was that what the movie was
very
called?
motched up version of Newsfront. Just leave us alone. I want my microwave and my television. Just let me. Don't do this. Very Orwellian. I had a conversation with someone the other day, and they were saying, you know, the world, we've got all these things that people are going to get us. They're going to chip us, and they're going to influence, and they're going to control us. And I'm thinking, just imagine if you were speaking to someone in China, and you say, have you heard about all these theories? So they'd say, we live that life. We're not allowed to do certain things. We can't say certain things. We've got to do this. We've got to do that. That is 1984. It's called the People's Republic of China.
Yeah, I mean some of those are funny. Hey, Buddy, I watch them sometimes, like shoplifters. They have a thing on YouTube about different way people shoplift or they get caught.
I always wonder, and I know of one person, absolute. I used to work for a tyre company when I was a young fella, and Don was his name. He would have been about 50, and his wife was about the same, about 50. And they're quite wealthy. They had money, they had a yacht and all that sort of thing. But she would forever be caught shoplifting.
Some people are kleptomaniacs.
She was a classic kleptomaniac.
Yeah.
And it's like, he'd say, why are you stealing butter? We
Yeah.
can afford a whole cow.
But some people, it's like Mum had a girlfriend. She went through the change of life. She was fine. Went through the change of life, and she just constantly stole stuff.
Yeah,
Didn't
she
need
just
it.
couldn't. She couldn't help herself. I actually talked to her one day, and she actually started saying, I can't stop doing this. And it was the psychological thing. She didn't need anything. Apparently, the first time he found out, there were cupboards of all these items that they didn't need. And he said, why are you buying this? She said, oh, I don't know. She wasn't buying it at all. She was just stealing it. 1984. No, it doesn't start off with a pandemic. It's a very, very interesting movie, 1984. George Orwell, of course. He left us with a warning if you ever watched any old clips of George Orwell. 1984 will become a reality. There's nothing you can do. You can try to do, but it'll be futile. 1984 will come to you. I saw it last year. It's a good movie. Main character's name is Winston, played by John Hurt.
And then you put it on one night because we listen to podcasts when we go to bed. Sometimes the things that Seeds puts on just cracks me up because he's asleep within 5 minutes and leaves the damn thing running and I've got to go and turn it off.
Eurasia has fallen. The great people of our country have saved the day. Chocolate rations are increased to 2 ounces per week.
And then it puts on the sound thingy of 84 whatever and I'm thinking, oh my God. Then he put on the Bible another night.
In the beginning. You imagine in different circumstances, and this happens, okay? It's happened throughout history. Some people have worshipped the great turnip, or the forked tree, or the split rock. And all of them have made them their gods. And I know you think I am telling porkies, but I'm not. Hello,
Hey,
Patty.
Patty.
The most common thing throughout history has been worshipping the sun.
And chatterboxes.
Oh, there's a whole heap of things without watching a movie, Buttercup, to know that they are absolutely bonkers.
Oh, eyes wide shut. I remember that.
It's like if you just go back in sort of 2,000 years, talk about Greek and Roman gods. There's a god for everything. However, today, in a country that you all know called India, there are something like, and I'm not kidding, over 3,000 religions. And some of them individually have thousands of gods. They have a god for food, god of tea, god of the wind. You name it, there's a god for it. Certain parts of different districts of the same area follow different gods.
My God is chocolate. I have a chocolate God.
But Roosevelt made a very fine statement one time during the Depression. Of course, it was terrible. No one working. Well, actually, it was only 40% unemployed, but it seemed like a lot. But he said, "We have nothing to fear but fear itself." This mask wearing is part of the ritual into their church. Well, if you wear a mask and you cough, your droplets don't go anywhere. So we have it called the ritual of the mask to stop you spreading germs. If you got a piece of chalk one day, got a blackboard, a big one, really big blackboard, and wrote down all the things that are going on this planet to make our lives a misery, you would be days writing this, that, this family, this crazy group, this mob, that. You just fill up the chalkboard. And then you'd have a small piece of paper, and I'd say, write down the things that make your life worth living. You come up with the words, love, food, chocolate. Do you see where I'm going with this? The simple things in lives is the reason why we breathe. The complicated ones that we have no control over or no chance of changing due to the circumstances that the domination has been going on for thousands of years. It's very hard to fight that. But you can look to that small piece of paper, write down the things that please you, and keep that piece of paper and then wipe the blackboard clean, if you choose to do so. You need a laugh. I've probably had fits of laughter, but then you'd probably accuse me of wetting your knickers, so I won't do that, just in case. Humanity in itself is very frail. We suffer fear, anxiety, the unknown. That's probably what most people fear more than anything else, is having a little bit of knowledge about something they don't understand, because they'll fear that and they'll try and get all the information they can. They can't get much more. So they're perplexed. They have some information, but they don't have the whole picture.
That's just how they are, Paddy. It's like a lot of the Asian, Indian countries, they just put their kids to sleep on a mattress on the floor or on a pallet that's homemade mattress they still make it out of horsehair, or what's the fibre they use in Indonesia?
For
making mattresses.
it's usually hemp.
Yeah. That's just how they are, Paddy. They're very... It doesn't seem to bother them having not a lot of furniture, and they'll use boxes to sit on or a crate as a lounge.
I think culturally we're all different. One thing that does bring us together, all races on the earth, and it's only really happened the last 30 odd years, is food. If you've ever been to a different culture, a function, or even a restaurant, and then you've tried some, say, food from Samoa, and you think, wow, that's brilliant, I love that. It's the language of humanity is food. Whenever you go to a village and they don't know you, and this would happen in most cases, they'd either kill you or they'd offer you food. That's how it is, because food is universal. It's an offering. It may have to be a goat's eye that they say, we saved that just for you, Buttercup.
Because you're a visitor.
Because you're a special visitor, you get to eat the raw goat's eyeball, and all we have to do is have chops, and fry it on the barbecue, yummy. But you have the eyeball? Ugh.
It's getting cold.
Ketchup and goat's eyeball, yum. Can I have some more, please,
Oh,
sir?
yuck, Butty. Or eat the beating heart of a snake. Ugh.
Well,
That's
I've
their
had good
culture.
conversations with people about different subject matters over decades, and I have always come to the same conclusion, even with the knowledge of what's going on and all the information that you could provide. My answer would be, what can you do about it? And the answer is always the same.
Yeah, it'll seem strange to you, Paddy, but it's nothing to them. They might think if they walk into a house that's full of furniture and all this stuff, they might think, whoa, what's all this?
No, there's not a few of you out there, Buttercup. There are millions and tens of millions who know. Hello, Scarlett. Mission accomplished. Katy Perry, who's most likely born male. Really? Katy Perry's a man?
I got to go. Oh, okay, Scarlett, I got you. I'm with you. Oh, look, what did I hell supposed to put Scarlet. Look what happened. What did I put? SCO.
SCO.
Oh dear. There you go, Scarlet. I fixed it.
But if you could do something about the evil on this planet, what would it be? What would be your number one priority? You know all the things that are out there and what they're up to and how they do it, why they do it. So if you had an opportunity to change something on the planet, what would it be? Telling others does nothing.
The only thing I think, if you go to another country to live permanently, keep your own language, that's fine, but learn the language that you live, where you live.
Yep, you've got to make the effort.
I do believe you should, if I was to move to Indonesia, of course I would still keep my English, I would be learning Indo.
They did in the 80s, Buttercup. Here, they insisted that you must have basic English. It didn't last. There are families I know where mum, granddad, uncle cannot speak English at all. But that would be a great thing to bring back, respect. Just a simple word, but very powerful. Even if you're, like, a lot of people are scared of dark-skinned people. They just think the worst. But they go home, and I'm pretty sure they want to have the same as what everyone else wants to have, that safety, security, good education for the kids and food on the table, and somewhere reasonable to live. The colour of our skin only differentiates with your eyes. Because if you don't know and you're confused about someone, you'll fear them.
Yeah, media sometimes is a bit too far.
I think if you could become more open-minded and maybe on occasion do something extraordinary, like maybe there's a young couple of girls, different culture, different race, they're just sitting having lunch, maybe just sit down and talk to them for 10 minutes. I can guarantee one thing, that they'll look at you and think, should we fear this person? They're thinking the same thing you are. You see what I mean? Ellen DeGeneres is a man. Well, I think she's in a relationship, but I think she was born with the woman bits.
She's married, isn't she? Didn't she marry her partner?
She is married to the lady who was out of that show, DeRossi, I think her name is.
Oh.
She was in that show with that skinny chick. I think the name of the show. It's like Sex in the City, but not. It was different.
Oh, okay. Don't know.
Mariah Carey is a man. Can I just ask one question, ladies, just for a moment? Is there a reversal of this where you can say, yeah, this guy's a woman? Can you just do one of them for me? Because all these women you're talking about that are now men, are there any?
No, other way around.
Are there any men out there that are really women? Was this simply a flow in one direction? All of them are men.
No, all of them.
Madonna's a man, okay. Mrs. Obama, she a man? Okay. It just seems, my point would be, and I've had this conversation before, and how does it affect you?
Who's Michael?
If Ellen DeGeneres is a man, or Madonna, how does it affect you? What is the purpose? Gaga is a male too, right? Okay. So you actually, in this room, you are the only real women on the planet. Let's be honest. You're the only girls we know who haven't got penises. It's a Luciferian worship. Oh well, God will fix them. Next. People don't like to be fooled. Nah, there's no bearing on my life if Madonna is a man. Good luck to him.
Yeah, it's just all respect, isn't it, Paddy?
Well, deception is part of what the world is made of. You know, the perception we see is probably not what it really is. But I don't think all these women are men. I'm just saying, all right? Not all of them.
You mean were men?
No, they're saying they are men.
Yeah, they were men. Doesn't matter.
Lost. If there was an outcome or an objective for deception, I could understand it. But if there's no outcome or objective to someone like Madonna being a man, what does it matter? There's got to be, in deception, there has to be a reason. To deceive usually means to gain, not just to deceive. Deception is only a tool for a reward because they're not being truthful. Well, there's no gain in just that fact of deception.
The truth always comes out in the end. I don't care, it might take a while, but the truth always comes out.
Well, you know, if they're demonic and it's part of their Luciferian, they're all going to die and God will take care of them. So why worry about it? It's all good. Scarlett, just tell me you're a woman. Come on, Scarlett, tell me you're a woman. Yes, you're a woman. Of course you are. Does point to a lot of things, though, that all these women that are really men, it seems to be the man thing that's the devil, or the deception, or Luciferic. There you go. We got one woman in the room. Yeah, woo!
Excuse me.
Well, you're not in the room.
Okay.
You're in real life.
Alright, I'll just put in a, there you go. I'm in the room.
But they could change laws of whatever sex, doesn't matter. Like I say, I don't see the reward in deception by deception only. You're a lady. Oh, you're a lady. Oh, I see. Miss Horrible. Chump chummoney, chump chummoney, chump chim chiroo. Miss Horrible's a laddie. And that is true. Chimp chimney, chimp chimney, chimp chimp chiroo. All these damn women are blokes, that's for sure. I'm not staying round. A lot of these girls are not really girls, they're men. Life in the 1950s. Yes, I could live in the 50s. Like the Darling Buds of May. Do you remember that show? Catherine Zeta-Jones was in it. Where will I? I'm not sure what language that is. Dickens. Ooh. Excuse me, Miss Horrible. Can I have some more? I beat you to the punch, didn't I? Please do. Can I have some more? Fagin. Nah, you get nothing, lad. You go back on the road in the cobblestones and pick up all the rings that the ladies have dropped. I can't hardly see with my eyes. Adrenochrome. Adrenochrome?
I can't even say it.
It's
let
my
alone what
eyes.
it is.
I'm getting old.
I'll have to Google it.
Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London. I'll show you someone who isn't a man. La la da da da. Well, like I say, my point and conjecture in deception is that I don't know of anyone. I'm an ex-prison officer. I know why some people were deceptive. It was an ulterior motive for gain of some sort. However, If someone is only deceptive for deception's point only, there is no impact. There is no reward. There is no loss. You can be a man or a woman and be Prime Minister. Doesn't matter. And I'm not knocking anyone, I'm just saying that deception has to have a reward. What about astronauts? Yeah, they wear suits and breathe in oxygen. Well, if these people sell their souls, we won't see them where we're going, Scarlett. I don't think we should go back to Eden. There was always a misconception in my mind about the written book of the Bible in regards to Eden. Why would God say, you can eat from all of the fruit and lambs and whatever you like, you can have a barbecue every night, but you shall not eat from that one tree, which if I didn't plant there, you wouldn't have to worry about, but don't eat from that tree. Right. Why do that? I know the metaphor behind it, but as God, why do that? Why plant a tree that you're not allowed to eat the fruit of? The tree of knowledge. Wouldn't you think that knowledge would be a good thing? Do you know what I mean? And the story of Noah doesn't work for me. This doesn't work. You know, even going back in time, there were billions of species of animals that could not possibly have fit on one 300 by 100 cubit boat. Doesn't work. It's a metaphor, I get it. I understand the metaphor behind it. Practicality doesn't exist. And of course you have certain religions that say there's only going to be room for 550 of us in heaven. That's as big as Heaven Hotel is. Won't fit any more. So it doesn't matter whether you convert to their religion or not, you're not going. You're not invited. It's like, what? But realised a long time ago that God didn't write a Bible at all. Man wrote the Bibles that people read, not God. We're all on a cycle. We'll be back. Oh, you got one of them £2 bikes you're riding around London, eh? Okay. Bing, bing. Do you know in the old days, Miss Horrible, even in London, they had travellators, which meant the path used to move. I'm not kidding you. You had travellators in all the major cities where you could just hop on and it would just move at about 2 miles an hour. So you could just stand there and get wherever you wanted to go and then drop, jump off the travelator.
But they didn't last long.
And apparently they were very, very popular. But maintenance was a bit of a problem. But it's true. And we've even got them in airports. Exactly the same thing you see in airports. You know when you can either walk or you can go on a travelator? Well, that's what used to be in the streets of major cities in the 1880s. I believe in reincarnation milk. Do you? I believe all life is eternal and recycled. We are energy. Agreed. We are all part of something wonderful, Scarlett. And the less we worry about it, the better. Help me, guys. I'm trying to remember the name of the female singer who has a penis. She got divorced and married another woman.
That's not what it says.
Oh, I'm just making it up as I'm going along. And she was a MILF, apparently. And all connected. We're all part of the same thing. We are divisions and pieces of the same thing. We all want the same thing.
No, I can't think, buddy, who you're
Oh,
talking
great
about.
control method though, Miss Horrible. Just imagine if I'm your leader and I put the fear of God into you. Well, it's not me, of course, but I put the fear of God into you. But then I offer you a solution. I have the ultimate power of fear and hope. It's a perfect tool. If I create chaos, but then I give you a remedy for it, you're going to love me forever. You're going to stick a crown on my head and call me king. Of course, I've just been deceptive. Ah, so there was a reward.
What's
I remained in power, adulated by all. They carved images of me on stone walls, which in this case would be very tight, sore buttocks at the moment, and a creaky back, sore elbow, and my wrist hurts. But I don't want them to carve that into the wall. That would be a misrepresentation of a godlike figure.
what's AGT? What award is that, Buddy? I'm trying to help you find out who this person is, but I don't know what an AGT is.
I think if we want for less, we'll get more.
Oh, America's Got Talent. Okay. When did she win it?
See, I don't, forgive me, but I see no relevance in that. There's always been rewards throughout life. If I was an invading force, took over Buttercup's area, but then I would say to Buttercup, I tell you what, if you control your hairy, ugly, horrible mob, I will give you 10,000 acres of land. You can create small village. Pay me tax, of course, but you will be the queen of that little area. And that's what happened. They're against a family unit depopulation. Yeah, I think we've talked about this before. My opinion, if you're in power and have less people, where's your power? Well, if it's all about depopulation, from when I was born till now, they've buggered up big time.
Buddy, do you know what year you're talking about? What year did she win?
Say a prayer for Patty today. If you do pray, please think about me. I think about get fired today. My boss and I had an argument yesterday. I just have that feeling.
No, but stay positive, Paddy. Stay positive, you'll be fine.
You just do what you have to do. And you live your life on the words you lay down, but don't ever give up who you are. For anything.
Oh, years back, okay.
Yep. There's a song that comes to mind straight away, Scarlett. But I won't back down. Do, 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 do.
Alright, I will pick a year, Buddy. I will put in America's Got Talent winner of 2000 and see what comes up.
Okay.
You said years back, so we'll try 2000.
Ah, but that's their chosen bloodline, chick. If you have any belief or faith, they can't touch you. There is no, like I say, people that are deceptive do so for a reason. They don't do it just to be deceptive. There has to be an ulterior motive or gain in doing so. Like I say, I used to turn the key on lots of people who were deceptive, and they got caught.
But he'll think of it 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we'll get a phone call. I know who it is.
Yeah.
I know who it is.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. She's got it. Kelly. Now I have to Google her because I really can't remember her.
Kelly Clarkson, isn't she an African American lady? Just the name just rings a bell somewhere.
Yeah, the name's familiar.
The Illuminati hate Trump. That's why I love my president.
No, she's not an African American.
Okay. Well, actually, no, half the GOP hates Trump at the moment. I'm sure you've been keeping up with the knowledge of the former and present GOP members who are actually putting a huge amount of money into getting Biden elected. Yeah, I got that article yesterday and I thought, wow. So they're spending tens of millions of dollars and they're Republicans. They don't want Donald Trump. You can expose some people. You can't expose, like, apparently this report is regarding over 30,000 representatives of the Republicans.
Oh.
So it can't be all of them. Colin Powell came out 2 days ago, gave a very broad statement, and basically said, no, he'll be voting for the Democrats. Well, you could say fake news. Fake news is usually said by people that don't want to read it, whether it's true or not. Like 50, 60,000 people coming down with a virus and then making a statement, all's well, we're going great guns. But find that article. I'm not making it up, Scarlett. Many tens of thousands of Republicans are against Trump being re-elected. In fact, one group within that group want him to stand down and not stand for election, which won't happen, of course. It's all deep state. Well, I mean, you're now saying all the Republicans that are on that list are all deep state. Nah, I could wear a few of them, but not tens of thousands. Yeah, and Kanye West, that was funny. I did laugh at that, Buttercup.
I actually thought it was true. Because I wasn't really listening. And
No,
then
he
I-
doesn't, Scarlett, at all. He doesn't have 100% backing. There are tens of thousands that are planning to push for Joe Biden. They don't want the Democrats in, but they want them in more than they want Trump to remain. Well, you said 100%,
Almost.
but no.
Almost.
I think you find the swing is enormous at the moment against him. Well, like I say, the devil, you know, is maybe what you want to happen, but it's not the feeling. Looking from the outside in, he won't carry the African American vote at all. He's not carrying tens of thousands. Now, when I say tens of thousands, I don't mean Republican voters. I mean people that have been in office or work for the Republican Party or are ex-Republican senators or congressmen. So I'm not making it up. You need to probably find that article. It's a concerted group. The blacks are waking up. The blacks have always been downtrodden in every country. And the Asians and Arabs. We are all one people under God, regardless of skin, or the fact that most men in power, women in power, are actually men. It won't happen. It's horrible, because being blissfully ignorant for some people is pleasant, and that's okay. And if everyone woke up and everyone knew the true story, nothing would change. I agree. I think presidents are well selected in advance. But if everyone knows and everyone can point the finger at the facts, it wouldn't change anything. When you have power and ultimate power and wealth, nothing changes. Well, big lobbyists do that, Scarlett, don't they? Let's talk about what lobbyists do. They create mayhem and pushing forward things like pharmaceutical companies. Can we push this through the FDA? Yeah, we could probably do that.
I'll go inside and listen.
Backhand favours, exactly. You watch Donald Trump. He has the reverse of backhand favours. If someone stops agreeing with him, he just fires them. He had a big hiccup today. Two of the members of the Supreme Court that he proposed and appointed basically, agreed that his tax files shall be given to the New York lawyer. Donald's not happy. Still, he gets to keep them hidden till after the election. Whew. If you've got nothing to hide, why would you hide them? I think Donald Trump was elected for one main reason. People are sick to death of politics. And the politicians you get put in power are all the same. And what they saw in Donald Trump was someone that would go in there and break things. And I thought that was a good idea at the time. And he did go in there and he did break things. He broke tradition. Talking about lobbyists, he restricted them. They couldn't be a lobbyist if they were a former senator or etc. for 3 to 5 years. Because lobbyists are a pain in the ass. They don't work for the people, they work for the corporations. But so Donald Trump, in my eyes, was elected to break things. Now the people have seen that he's broken too many things. And he doesn't really lead. And this is not anything other than an observation. There are, 130,000 Americans dead. When's the video coming out of him visiting a family that has lost someone to this virus, showing true empathy and sorrow? It's not going to come. Nothing. There is no empathy for people. He's actually gone to a family that lost somebody and wrapped his arms around and said, look, I'm in it for all of you. Yeah. No, Donald Trump, I think, is staying well clear of most people. He just want to get the virus. He will in future, you can mark my words again, Scarlett, he will in future be facing Senate inquiries for years, for different things. You can't run the country like you're a mafia boss and think that everything can be kept under the carpet, because it can't. And in time, when the presidency ends, the Senate inquiries will begin. Yeah, some people call them a witch hunt. Some people might call it justice. I don't know. But they're coming. Believe me. No, he's a very bad mafia boss. Acts like he's a mafia boss, but not a very good one. When you have to continually be appraised and thanked, and when someone doesn't do it, he fires them. There's a litany of list of people I could name that he's fired based on that opinion alone. Oh, Camelot. Now we're going into Project Camelot. I know that quite well. Guru, Jagat. See, you can't forever keep labelling deep state, fake news. You can't keep doing that. It's just a way of expressing a view to diminish the subject matter. You can't keep saying fake news, they're all deep state. You can't do that because it doesn't ring true. Like I say, mark my words, in years to come, he will be facing Senate inquiry after Senate inquiry. The truth is coming, sees, with proof soon. Well, he's not going to be re-elected. In Australia, we call it when someone who's definitely going to win, that you could be the opposition and a drover's dog would win. It wouldn't matter. Forget Biden. Let's say it could be Miss Horrible running for the presidency. She'd get elected. He will win by a landslide, all right? Everyone remember Scarlett's statement. Donald Trump will win by a landslide. Biden won't run. Jeez, that sounds like fake news to me, Scarlett. You're not from the deep state, are you? You going to bed, Miss Horrible? Good night. Sleep tight and don't let the bugs bite. Write it down. Joe Biden's not running and Trump will win in a landslide. Not sure what dimension you're in, Scarlett. Do you only get to be in my dimension with the use of this technical hangout? I wouldn't take your money. If anything, out of the two candidates, the one that may not run would be Trump. Well, we all got to have a viewpoint. My perspective is one that I have no hat in the ring here. Whether Trump gets re-elected or Biden doesn't affect me. But I have an observation. And the chaos in your country at the moment is despicable. You've got no national leadership in this major pandemic crisis at all. And it's like, blame the governors, blame all the states. You're supposed to lead from the top. That's how leadership works. The nation of America is in for chaos for a decade, regardless who is the president. The economic thump, which is coming between September and probably 12 months after September, is going to be a massive impact, regardless who's president. Yes, your constitution allows the governments to make individual division statements and laws for their own territories. That's how it works. That's the constitutional right. But then your president said, I will do this and I will do that, which was very unconstitutional as regarded, don't you think? I will fix it. I am God. Anyway, we haven't got long to wait. We'll see what unfolds. See, that's the biggest mistake that they have, that the president has the ultimate power. That is just plain stupid. One man or woman has the ultimate power over 350 million people. Nah, it sounds a bit dumb. But we'll see. It won't take long. Time, particularly when you get older, passes very quickly. I'm going to dress up as a woman and go on camp. I guarantee to do that. But you will all know that deep down I'm a man. And I'll just fall into that Luciferian class, which is a bit harsh because I'm not. I believe that we are all part of something wonderful. But see, there is no winning. But I'll do that for you if that happens. But there is no winning, because I hate to say this, the fall of America is going to be hard, economically in particular. This is, I keep shaking my head when people say, oh, we're all going to be back to normal again. Like Trump said, oh, at Easter we'll all be in church holding hands. Easter's come and gone a long time ago. America is winning with Trump. Oh, righto. The delusion runs deep. The whole world's going to suffer. It won't just be America. Oh, I have to go purple, I think. You do live there. But sometimes when you're inside the looking glass, and someone looks outside on the way in, what are you winning at? What has Trump done so far that says we are winning? It sounds a little bit like Charlie. You know who I'm talking about? 2 men and a baby. Sounds a lot like that. Winning. I don't know what you're winning at. We're cleaning up the government, the FBI, CIA, NSA, jobs. Wow, you did put a few jobs back on, but you have lost 50 million jobs. Yeah, everyone has a different perspective. I just see the overall perspective. The world is in for dark times. And I'm not Luciferian, I'm just logic. The crunch will begin, I believe, in September. Will run for a very long time, but the impact seriously will be for 12 months. Your military has been revamped. You don't work at the Pentagon, do you, Scarlett? You seem to have a lot of information. Less unemployment. No, you lost 50 million jobs, March to April. You've got, I think, 15 million got jobs. But everyone's got sick again now, and they're closing places, Scarlett. rapidly. Getting ready to go to work, 60 years, I've never been fired. Well, you make sure that if you are fired, Paddy, and if it's on unfair grounds, you do something about it. You stand up for yourself. Think about executive orders. They can be wiped out with the new president. It's like leaving the World Health Organization. It's a flick of a pen to rejoin. It's very simple. Trump is personally going after human trafficking and child sex crimes. Well, that's why we have a judicial system and the law enforcement officers and chasing those bad bastards down. I don't think Trump actually does any of the cases himself. But you'll find that it's the system that catches these people. Anyway, I'm not here to argue or be conflict. I'm just stating my opinion. I do not see a hell's hope for Donald Trump at all. So you keep saying it's the executive orders that a president signs. In other words, it's a law he makes, which again, I'll repeat, you only can make those executive orders while you are president. As soon as you are not president, they can be wiped out, like the World Health Organization withdrawal by America. I'm pretty sure without much fuss that it will be reinstated immediately under a different president. That's how it works. Just because there's a kid running around the shop with a sledgehammer and smashing things, he doesn't always get to do that. He's removed from the shop, they fix up all the shelves, put everything back on there. That's how it works. Why do you think he brought back federal death penalty? The death penalty is in certain states of America anyway, the federal law. State laws override that, though. People will be charged with treason. Does this sound a little bit like a king on a hill, making executive decisions and having people put to the sword for treason? How dare you? You do that, Daddy. Doesn't matter what happens. When it boils down to it, you walk away with your integrity. That's what life is all about. Well, I'd say Trump is ahead, but I don't know if I'd use the first word figure. I might replace it with something, buttercup. I'm going to have one more cigarette on that I'm going in because it is now dropped down to 9 degrees. Oh, did they? Oh, bugger. Yeah, probably, yeah. It's okay to have a civil disagreement based on opinions and perspective. It's very simple. You don't have to agree with what I say. And most of you don't. And that's okay. Apparently I'm going to be dressed up as a woman with purple lipstick, wearing a nice frock. Mention the words, "This is for Scarlett." You see, I'm not even asking for anything in return, Scarlett. I'll do that, but I wouldn't ask anything of you in return. It would be unfair. Well, I am afflicted with one thing, and that is logic and lateral thinking. And that always pulls me up. It always reminds me that it's okay to have a thought process, but you've got to have something that makes it work for you. If you've figured and formulated a view in your mind, that's fine. If you're connecting dots, which means, and don't take this the wrong way, Scarlett, you're just following a line of dots, which means you've got a lot more dots to find, which doesn't mean you have all the picture. You know, draw picture by dots, you end up with like one line. I wonder if that's the back of a cat. Maybe it's a donkey. More lines, more dots, or could be a dragon. That's how I think. And I've always in my life given people enough rope. In other words, I won't hang them straight away, as you can probably well attest by RIC bully. Yeah, for me, I don't need clarity, I always need facts. That's just me. I don't need to see the whole picture, but truth is truth. Speculation is speculation.
Well, you won't be wearing one of my dresses.
I don't think I'll fit into one of them. We'll have to get a curtain. That'll do.
Wrap a curtain round you.
I'll do a Marilyn Monroe thing. I'll wrap a curtain around me, put a tiara on, purple lipstick.
I've got a tiara.
And go, a kiss on the hand could be quite continental. And scarlet poppy fills my friend.
I have 2 tiaras.
See, kids are still playing.
Yeah.
It's pretty late.
I'm waiting for JP to come back and say something because Collingwood won.
Yeah, he hates Collingwood.
So do we.
Oh, thanks. Carol Channing in her later years, possibly. Thanks, Scarlett. Very kind of you. Though she was funny. She wants me to dress up as a dead woman.
Yeah. Oh, let's still put a scarf. Put a curtain around you. I ain't got no huge false teeth, but I've got a tiara.
There's an old saying which makes a lot of sense to me. That's the one where you should never follow blindly. It's not having a go at anyone, I'm just saying it's an old saying, because it's a case of the blind leading the blind. So never follow blindly. She's got the munchies. What are you going to eat before you go? Tell us.
Oh, okay.
What'd you say?
Enjoy your munchies.
Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, that's more annoying. What you eating, Buttercup? Has it got to do with chocolate? Possibly?
Yeah, we're going in. It's getting cold.
Triple X Buttercup. Oh, righto. Didn't know that. Is that you got a video link, Scarlett? Triple X Buttercup.
It's
Ooh.
kisses.
Oh, kisses. Sorry. So it's a case of open the cupboard, open the fridge, and go, yeah, it's grazing time. All right, we're all going to shoot off too. It's too cold here. That's frozen.
Sleep well, actually have a good day. We will sleep well.
It's always good sleeping in the cold weather. Makes you go snoozy. So we've got a video tomorrow, Buttercup foraging through the kitchen. Scarlet, big storm is coming, probably as bad as the New Orleans. I thought it was just a tropical storm heading to the northeast coast.
Stay safe anyway, if you have.
Anyway, think of good stuff. Smile. Smile. And all that stuff. Till next time.